Case summary. This case is a landmark decision in the realm of employment law and contract law in the United Kingdom, focusing on the implied term doctrine. It is most notable for establishing the officious bystander test used to determine whether a term should be implied in a contract. Background facts. Claimant plaintiff, Mr. Shirlaw. Defendant, Southern Foundries, 1926 Limited. Mr. Shirlaw was employed as the managing director of Southern Foundries, 1926 Limited under a contract which specified that he would hold this position for a term of 10 years. During his tenure, the company was taken over, and the new controlling company offered the Articles of Association of Southern Foundries, giving them the power to remove directors. Consequently, Mr. Shirlaw was dismissed from his position before the end of the agreed term. Argument. Claimant's argument. Mr. Shirlaw argued that his removal was a breach of the employment contract. He contended that there was an implied term in the contract that he would not be removed from his position by an action that rendered his continued service impossible, as long as he fulfilled his duties properly. Defendant's argument. Southern Foundries argued that the alteration of the Articles of Association was a legitimate exercise of their powers and did not constitute a breach of contract. They contended that no such implied term existed in the employment contract. Final outcome and legal justification. Outcome. The court found in favor of Mr. Shirlaw. The Court of Appeal, led by Mackin and L.J., held that there was indeed an implied term in the contract that he would not be removed from his directorship in a manner that would render the agreed term of his employment meaningless. Legal justification. 1. Implied term doctrine. The court applied the officious bystander test, where a term can be implied if it is so obvious that it goes without saying. In this context, the court reasoned that both parties would have agreed, at the time of the contract, that Mr. Shirlaw could not be removed by actions such as altering the Articles of Association if they had considered the point. 2. Business efficacy. The court also applied the business efficacy test, determining that the contract would lack commercial or practical coherence without such an implied term. Without the implied term, the contract's purpose would be frustrated, as it would allow one party to render the contract's obligations impossible to perform. Key concept. Implication of the case. Shirlaw v. Southern Foundries established crucial principles in contract law, particularly regarding the implication of terms in a contract. It reinforced the use of the officious bystander and business efficacy tests to imply terms that ensure the contract remains effective and functional. Key lessons. 1. Implied terms. Candidates should understand how courts determine implied terms to ensure the contract remains practical and commercially viable. 2. Contractual integrity. The case underscores the importance of contractual obligations and the limitations on parties' abilities to unilaterally alter terms to the detriment of others. In summary, Shirlaw v. Southern Foundries is a foundational case in contract law that highlights the court's approach to ensuring that contracts are both fair and functional by implying necessary terms.